Ryan with Premier. First, I would like to thank everyone who has supported this channel. Started out as a way to basically pump up my own ego and show off the work that we were doing. And it's kind of taken on its own little life. And a lot of people are finding it helpful. I get a lot of comments, even some phone calls, which is a little weird. But yeah, you guys are great. But it's weird because, let me show you something here. As I look at this is the YouTube, right? So out of the, last month or something, those are the views. But it's mostly by people who aren't subscribed. Only 458 views out of the 455 people or something that have subscribed to the channel. So let's convert this to this. All right, let's do it. Again, a lot of you guys out there like the advice. I love doing the advice portion of this. So, not going to be that guy, but why don't you go ahead and smash that subscription button and go ahead and smash that like button while you're at it. That's such a douchey thing to say. So, yeah, I came on here because I wanted to answer some of your questions, and answer some of your questions, and I got sucked into analytics, and I noticed that. So, yeah. So let's go to the comments. Lloyd Tucker asks, could you just do a video about starting out bare bones, out of pocket, the tools, the products, the legal process as far as business and licensing? Thanks, man. I appreciate and enjoy your work. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Yeah, you can start a business doing seal coating with a couple 55-gallon drums, a 5-gallon bucket, a squeegee, a backpack blower, and a weed whacker. There you go. Now you're a seal coater. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. It's a great way to start. I started with a oil tank. I worked for a company called FW Webb. They're a huge plumbing and heating supplier up in the Northeast. I was with them for 17, 18 years. And I started doing it with an oil tank. I got a 6x10 landscape trailer. I got an oil tank. I drilled a 2-inch hole in the side of the oil tank at the bottom. I welded a 2-inch nipple on there, screwed on a 2-inch ball valve with a piece of hose that came out of that, and I just would fill my buckets. 275-gallon tank. I cut the lid. I cut a big square in the top of it and put hinges on it so that I could open it and I could mix it, because you want to use sand, and if you're going to use sand, then you have to know, or you have to be able to agitate it. So you got to have access to get into it to agitate it. Now, I've seen guys use totes, and I've seen guys use trash pumps to jerry-rig spray units and stuff like that. And look, nothing wrong with that. All right, as long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing for your customer, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So the other thing is you don't want to stay in a rig like that for too long. All right, you want to take your profits, put them back into the business, and get yourself a tank. Because although there's nothing wrong with running around with barrels and running around with oil tanks or running around with plastic totes and trash pumps from Harbor Freight, at the end of the day, that says a lot about your business, And I don't want to use the G word, gypsy. I don't want to use the gypsy word. But in the Northeast, that's synonymous with being a gypsy. And gypsies aren't known for their quality. Now, I have friends who, I have friends who are legit bloodline gypsies, and they're in paving, and this dude does phenomenal work. So I don't think that gypsies, or being a gypsy, means that you do crap work. It just so happens that a lot of gypsies do crap work. Sorry. So, there's that. You're not going to have the ability to do really good crack filling, that's just your entry level. That's get you in, get you on driveways, get you making some money. All right. At the end of your first season, you should turn around and buy an MA10, which is this. You should have a Billy Goat crack grazer, which is this. It's great for cleaning out cracks, vegetation in the cracks. It's great for doing edging, which we have videos on the channel you should check out. It just makes your job look 100 times better, and it allows you to do a better job because you have the right tool. So that's that. What else? A weed whacker. Weed whackers are good because they're cheap, they're easy. When I started out, I used a weed whacker to do my edging. I just, fire it up, flip it around, run it down the edge, cut all the blades of grass back. It looks nice, but you're not really edging. You're not opening up the inches of driveway that may have overgrown where the driveway had been taken over by the grass. So, then you got that. Then that'll get you going. But you should be putting your money back into your business so that at least in the next season you can get something going. Because the bigger the equipment you have, the more efficient you're going to be able to turn work around, and the bigger jobs you're going to be able to take. Now, I never let having an oil tank stop me from doing big jobs. Matter of fact, at one point I had 2 oil tanks on my trailer, and we were doing car dealerships, 120,000 square feet with a bucket and a squeegee. Well, not even a bucket, because at that point, you could just have somebody sit on the edge of the trailer, open the ball valve, and you could just drive and put your bead out. But you'd have to have 2 people on the squeegee. And yeah, I mean, I know guys that still do that to this day. There are guys out there that say, squeegeeing and brushing is better than spraying. You know who said that? Everybody that didn't have a spray rig said that. I used to say that. Well, you don't want to spray, stay away from spray. But here's you get a lot more sealer if you put it down with a squeegee. Bullshit. All right. Go out and spray one of my jobs and then walk with a squeegee over what I just sprayed, and you're pulling puddles. So I don't know how you could be getting more material for that. It's St. Jude. So then what else? That's it. And if customers have problems, address the problems immediately. Okay, because those customers are going to be the ones who are going to make or break you. All it takes is one Janet or one Karen to go on Facebook and call you out about something that they have no idea about, and that's it. You're screwed. So that's that. All right. As far as licensing, business licensing, legal process, so we're incorporated. We're a corporation. We did that because hopefully we want to grow into a bigger company. I'm trying to isolate myself as a person, give the company its own identity. So we chose to incorporate. Most people LLC. Business licensing in Massachusetts, there is no business license. You have to register with your local town. Usually that's just a one form you fill out, usually $25. It just establishes your business in that area. And yeah. And then also, if you're an LLC or a corporation, you got to file with the Secretary of State. And that just goes, if somebody goes to look you up online, it shows that you're a legit corporation. So that's that. Let's see. Lloyd Tucker again. Can you make a video about getting all the tools, products? You're going to have to look for somebody who sells bulk sealer. Luckily for us where we are, we have 4 of the nation's top vendors, like within 3 or 4 miles of each other. So we kind of lucked out in that sense. But there's other I know guys that come down from Maine and take a 2-hour trip every Saturday to fill their tanks. That's crazy. I don't even know if I'd do this if I had to do that. So you want to find yourself somebody that can buy it in bulk. Now, a lot of companies like Naira, Sealmaster, I don't know about Copeland, but they will actually put a 4,000 gallon agitated tank in your building as like a loaner or something, or maybe a rent it, or and then they'll come and just fill up that tanker. Now, obviously, you got to have a place to put it. You probably got to have, you got to have good. I'm sure you got to have good credit. They got to know that you're not going to fuck their machine up or break anything, or that you're going to be a good customer to do it for. But they'll make sure that you have material. A lot of guys in the beginning, they're not established enough. They don't have the deep enough pockets to go do this and put a 4,000 gallon tank in it. So you're going to have to find somebody that's close to you where you can buy it in bulk. And that's going to probably be your biggest challenge depending on where you are. Let's see what else here. AD, the letters AD. Hey boss, if you can make a video finding a customer for a brand new seal coating and what strategies for getting commercial jobs, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, that's another great question. Branding is everything. All right. So I drove a trailer truck for forever for FWM, and I did this on the side. And at the same time that I was doing it on the side, I was growing my company. And when I took my company full time, well, that's when I had to brand myself. So I took out ads on the radio, on different radio stations. Basically, it wasn't so much for customers as it was for other seal coating companies to know that, like, we're here now. And advertising on vehicles is another big thing. I have all my trucks wrapped. There's no doubt when you see a Premier Seal Coating truck coming down the road, there's no doubt whose it is. You can see it coming from a mile away. So in the beginning, it became like a fake it till you make it type scenario. People would call and be like, I have this 100,000 square foot parking lot. Can you help me? Can you do this? And I'd, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. And then I'd show up with my 2 oil tanks and my squeegees, and people would be like, what the hell is going on here? And then before they know it, the parking lot was done and everybody was happy, right? But it was one of those things where at the beginning, you have to look at it like customers are going to find you however they feel most comfortable. Whatever makes them feel most comfortable, that's how they're going to pick you. So if they go to your website, your Facebook page, your Instagram, and they see giant tennis court jobs, 6, 8, 10, 12 court complexes, they're looking at your crack filling jobs, and they see these massive properties that have just only been crack filled, or they see videos of you out there with equipment, or big seal coating jobs, and they have a big parking lot, and they look at your pictures and they see that you have a ton of pictures of doing big parking lots. They're going to know, look, these are the guys. These guys can handle the work that I'm getting ready to throw at them. If you're set up for only doing driveways, well, then that's what you're going to get, And so if you follow my channel at all, you know that to me, trucks and appearance is everything. All right. And if you look at this is my crack truck, for instance. People drive by a parking lot, they see us out there filling cracks. You can tell from a mile away that is Premier Seal Coating doing that parking lot. All right. Same thing with my box truck. Here's a picture of my box truck. We go out to a job, this thing gets parked right out front, and that truck stays there until we're done with the job. It's a 28-foot billboard, 24-foot billboard, So branding. Now, there are companies out there that will piggyback on your branding. I've had You know, there's a local company that's kind of a thorn in my side. I'm sure they would say the same about me, but I'm a firm believer that if you do a good job and people seek you out for the quality of your work, you don't have to advertise. I haven't advertised in 3 years. I have more work than I can keep up with. We seal coat an average of 500 to 700,000 square feet in a month. As far as tennis courts, if the weather cooperates, you know, we can do about 50 tennis courts a month. So, and I have more work than I know what to do with, and I'm very thankful for that. But one thing I don't have to do is blow a ton of money on advertising, because you know, I've said this before in other videos, but you want to think about it as like um, you're like a top tier tattoo artist or something. You know, top tier tattoo artist doesn't sit in a shop all day and wait for people to come in and get little heart tattoos on their chest, or, you know, tramp stamps on their back after a night out with the girls. Like, these are guys that have appointment books that are as long as their arm. People wait months to have appointments with them, and that's who we are. That's what we do. As soon as somebody calls and says, "Hi, I have this apartment complex that I am trying to seal coat," then I ask them, "Well, like, what's your objective? What is your overall expectation when this job is over? Is it all about just trying to get the is it all about just trying to get it black and repaint the lines, or are you trying to get it to last for as long as possible?" You know, because there's two huge differences in those prices. You know, this is a business where people are going to water their material down and give you whatever price they think you're going to pay. And that's something you have to explain to the customer. Look, you do not want to pick your contractor based on price. You know, even reviews. I have like 55-star reviews. I'll be the first to tell you, reviews don't say anything or everything. You know, you go through you can almost tell when you start reading through people's comments how fake their comments are. Or start grabbing names off of their review list, and then check it against their Facebook page or something, and you'll find that it's like people that work for them or family members or something. You know, you have to like really do your research on these companies. So yeah, so without going off into a sidebar tangent here, your reputation is what's going to find customers. Get out there, do a couple jobs, be smart about how you schedule your work. If you have to, if you have like a driveway in a neighborhood, first thing you want to do when you go into a neighborhood is show up. You got this little neighborhood. You start talking to the guy. Hey, how friendly are you with your neighbors? You know, oh yeah, me and Jim. You know, we go to the Red Sox games all the time. We drink. You know, on the weekends we have barbecues and this and that. You know, if you can get 1 or 2 of your neighbors to go in on it and make it worth me coming into the neighborhood for the day. For every neighbor that you get, I'll take $50 off. Oh wow, really? Yeah, if you get 5, I'll do yours for free. Like, oh wow. So, and nowadays there's all these Facebook forums for neighborhoods, you know, or you know, cul-de-sacs, and everybody's got a Facebook page. One guy can put out, I mean, this has happened to us 3 different times. First time we did 27 driveways. The second time we did 32 driveways. In this third time, sorry, we did 37 driveways. And these aren't small driveways. We're talking 15 to 2,100 square feet, all in the same neighborhood. You go up in there with 2 trucks and you kill it for a day, you know. And yeah, the most we did was, I think, 32 or 33 driveways in one day. So you can make it worth, you can make it worth it, you know. Again, the strategy for commercial jobs is pretty much fake it until you make it, in my opinion. What I did was I started putting bigger pictures. I mean, you can steal pictures off of my fucking Facebook page or website. I don't care. Put them up as your own, you know. people are going to go search you out, all right, on Google. They're going to find you. They're going to start looking at your pictures. And if your pictures are all driveways, well, then that's pretty much what you can expect to get. If your pictures are all big parking lots, well, then that's going to make somebody with big parking lots realize, well, these guys can obviously handle what I'm getting ready to throw at them. You know, they've done it before. Look, what's next? Let's see. KC Stevens says, my family has done this for 50 years and more. 40 cents a foot is too cheap to make any money anymore. You know, he's absolutely right. We try to, it's all about appearances, right? And I'm not trying to screw the customer over when I say this, but it's all about appearances. So let's say you have a parking lot. I gotta get a pen because I won't be able to do these numbers. But let's say you have a parking lot that is 30,000 square feet. Okay. And normally you charge, let's say you charge, just for round numbers, 10 cents a square foot. That's on seal coating only for one coat. That's what a lot of guys in this area charge. That's just for seal coating, not crack filling, not line stripping. So on a job like that, that would be $3,000 just for the seal coating, one coat. All right. So there's really not any money in that. Now a 30,000 square foot parking lot is probably going to use about 200 to 250 gallons of sealer at $1.95 a gallon. You know, so your cost of materials is not that much. All right, you're probably looking at just under $500 on the material to do that job. So $2,500 is a pretty good payday, you know, for the one. But it's not anywhere near what you could be making for something like that. So what we do is we have a system. Most bigger companies that do bigger parking lots, this is how they price stuff out. They give an all-inclusive price, and that covers pretty much everything. Now that's another way. If you're like a property manager or somebody, that's how you know that you're dealing with a company that does bigger jobs versus a company that you know, that's like, you know, does smaller parking lots or driveways, because they're going to price it by the line item, which is, you know, seal coating, crack filling, and line striping. So let's say the same 30,000 square foot parking lot has, you know, let's say it has 2,500 linear feet of cracks, right? Most guys around here charge about $1 a foot. And then let's say they're line striping on a 30,000 square foot lot, comes down to 40 spots, okay? So 40 spots, 40 spots. Most guys charge $5 a line. So that's 200 bucks. Plus the 2,500, plus the 3,000, you're up to $5,900 on that 30,000 square foot parking lot with 2,500 linear feet of cracks and 40 lines. What we do is we charge by the square foot. So everything is included. Now, oh, another good point. A lot of companies, they have it right in their paperwork, right in their estimate, that they only fill cracks over 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch. Now, how do I know that? Because in the springtime, I have people go out and bid things through my competitors and then hand me over the estimates, so I can see where their pricing's at, so I can see exactly how they structure their estimates, and then I do everything opposite of that. And then when I go to these jobs, I say, oh, by the way, yeah, you're going to probably see this, and they're going to only offer this, and they're going to, and so when that happens, which it's going to happen, they know, oh, this guy told me that was going to happen, you know? And you know what? It keeps those other people honest, because to tell a customer that, oh, crack filling will be cracks under 1/4 of an inch are not designed for hot rubber, and the sealer will fill those, or we'll use a trowelable, like fucking crack filler, you know? That's crap. That's crap. If someone's coming to your house saying, oh, we're going to use a trowel filler instead of hot rubber, it means one of two things. It means they're probably pulling a trailer with a sealer tank on it, and they can't bring their tow behind machine if they even have one, or they don't have room for an MA10. They're just coming in, they're using the cheapest stuff possible. They don't want to stand around and wait for the rubber. They don't want to wait for the MA10 to cool down so they can strap it down. So they tell you that they're going to put the trowel stuff down. The trowel stuff's going to be good. And you know what? If you don't have an MA10 or you don't have a tow behind machine, then you got to do what you got to do for your customer. Okay? That's just what you got to do. And that's fine. Do it. Right? But if you're trying to give the customer the most bang for their buck, you don't do it by, you know, cutting every little corner. So what we do is we're going to take the same parking lot, 30,000 square feet, and we're going to times that by 25 cents a square foot. And that gives you $7,500 for the same parking lot. Now, the way that you sell this to the customer is by everything that I just told you, okay? You go up, you say, look, the way we price things is different from other companies, you know? Other companies are going to come in, they're going to fill the cracks that are over a quarter of an inch by a quarter of an inch. They're going to tell you that the sealer is going to fill everything else, which is not true. We are going to come in, we're going to fill everything the way that it's supposed to be done. Every single crack is going to get filled. You're going to get one coat, two if you want to, but one coat to start, all the cracks filled. And when it comes time to painting your lines, we're not just going to paint over the lines that are there. We're actually going to lay out new lines and paint them using a laser so that they are straight. They're not going to be hooked. They're not going to be bananas. When you look down the row, nothing's going to veer. Everything is going to be dead nuts locked on. All right. And yes, this does look like it costs you more money. Okay. But you are getting a lot more in return versus this other estimate that you got at 10 cents. And you got to, again, the way to sell this is to explain to them that you are doing each individual square foot like it's its own job. That's how you're pricing it, and that's how you're doing it. So yeah, you're charging 25 cents a square foot, but every single square foot in that job is going to be addressed. If it has a crack, it's going to get filled. If it has a line, it's going to get painted. If it needs to be sealed or cleaned, it's going to get sealed or cleaned. And you know, you tell them, I'm not going to be the cheapest person, but this is why those people are cheaper than me. All right. And you may not hire me this time, but you will most certainly hire me next time. And you'll see this time when it's all done, all these things that I pointed out to you. And hopefully next time you'll be more educated and make a better decision. So yeah, there is no way to do this at 40 cents anymore unless you have high volume. If you're doing a driveway and it's 1,000 square feet and you're only charging 25 cents a square foot, then yeah, you're losing your ass off on a driveway. That's why I don't price driveways by the square foot. I look at them and I go, what does it have? How accessible is it? Do I have to get the truck in the driveway? Can I reach it from the road? Do I have to machine edge? Does it have cracks? Does it have retaining walls? Are there vinyl fences? Are there garage doors? Like, all of these things are things that are going to slow you down, and those all need to be taken into consideration when you're trying to price things out. And you know what? If you have to look at a driveway that's 1,000 square feet and charge 40 cents a square foot, yeah, that driveway for me, $400 is not worth it, especially if it has cracks, you know. So I drive up, I look at a job, and I go, this is how much it would take for me to do that. People call me all the time and go, I just measured my driveway, or so and so came and gave me an estimate, and they said my driveway was X amount of square feet. I just like, look, I thank you, I appreciate that info, but I really need to see it with my own eyes because there's a lot more that goes into it. Well, can you just give me a price per square foot? No, because I don't charge a price per square foot. So I charge by the job. And But, most of the time they're going to say, well, just come out and look at it anyways. All right. So, all right, what else? I need some help getting started. I got a plastic tote and ad on Facebook, but I'm having a hard time getting jobs. Well, you got to do what I said. You got to do what I said. First of all, be smart about when you schedule your jobs. Okay, pick a neighborhood. Like I said earlier, get some friends. If you can get that guy to sell you a couple jobs, great. If he can't, then you know what? You schedule his driveway for 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. And 7:30, you get there. You fire your machines up. You start making all kinds of noise, and people will start looking out the window. And sure as shit, Andrew S. Uh, nope, sorry, William Rosanna. Sure as shit, Will. People are going to start coming out. They're going to wonder what's the Joneses doing next door. Oh, the Joneses are having their driveways done? Hey, how much to do mine? Hey, how much to do mine? Also, get yard signs, because a lot of times these people aren't not going to approach you right away. They want to see how it looks. They want to see how it turns out. And then you're gone, and let's say they don't like their neighbor, or they don't want to go over and talk to their neighbor. Then they have to they got to find you somehow. So what a better way than to have a yard sign sitting out there for everyone in the neighborhood to drive by. You'll get more work using yard signs than you probably will doing any other form of advertisement. All right. Now, let's see. What else do we have here for people who want videos? All right. Hassan Saeed says, hi there, wondering if I could get your advice. I'm speaking with a tennis court contractor who is recommending we saw cut cracks out of our court where the edges have cracked. I haven't heard of many contractors doing this. Most seem to fill the crack as is. They suggest it be done clean and clear to allow the space for the patch mix to fill the cracks properly. What are your thoughts? They also suggest one coat of acrylic resurfacer should be sufficient, while most others support two. Your videos are super helpful. Keep them coming. Well, in this situation, I would say no. You never want to saw cut any kind of cracks out of a tennis court, because as soon as you do that, so let's look at a crack at what it is, right? It's a failure point. A crack is a V. So it has it's supported on three sides, top, bottom, middle. All right. But what happens is a lot of times you get breaks. Now these two pieces of asphalt are their own pieces. They're moving like anything else would move. All right. So by putting patch binder in there and covering over the top of the crack, you're fixing that crack, But when you saw cut it, now you're creating two failure points instead of one. If your crack or your break is the failure point, as soon as you cut that out, now you have two seams, and those seams are now failure points. So I would not recommend doing that at all. I would just fill it with patch binder and get hooked up with a company like Right Way True Bounce or Armor Crack Repair for membrane systems, and become an authorized installer of that. It's great money. Your work's going to come out 100 times better, and you're actually addressing the problem instead of creating another one. All right. Have you guys ever heard of an invention called a shovel and a broom? You waste so much time using only the power brush and the blower. Justin Like That said. Well, Justin Like That, I went to your page and I did not see any videos of you seal coating or cleaning an asphalt parking lot with a shovel. When you have wet, deep, compacted dirt, there's only really one way to get it off, and that's to power broom it. You power broom it, you push the dust out of the way. You let the sun dry what's there. You hit it again with the power broom. You blow that out of the way. You let the sun dry what's there. Anything short of a power washer, you're not getting it off. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell that guy's talking about. Can you show a video on how to properly spray driveway without missing areas? You know, when it comes to spraying driveways, it's all about technique. All right. First of all, you need to be overlapping half of your width. So you go, you overlap. You can almost see it. Oh, and technique is everything. You know, think about it like when you're spraying a car. If you're painting a car, it's you get to the end and you have a little move at the end, so you don't get blotchy. I'd love to say that there's a great way to do this cruise where where everything's just going to be perfect and uniform, but it's not. My suggestion to you would be to start with a smaller tip. Start with like a 4 or a 5. It's going to go real slow, but it's going to give you time to see how it works. All right, you're going to be able to spray it and know that you're going to be able to spray it and know exactly where your seal is going versus trying to start with a 7. Now it's coming out like a fire hose. You're running around. It's just puddling up. You know, start with a small tip. Go with low pressure, and take the time to do it. All right. Mike Milberg, how do you handle a shade driveway with very light moss coatings? And again, we have a video that I posted to the page, Mike. Power washing it is the best way. I've seen guys out there with power brooms. You know, one of the things I get most when I go to customers' houses and I point out stuff like the moss or algae that's growing on the driveway is, you know, I've had 3 people come here and no one else has bothered to tell me that it needs to be power washed. They all said, oh, you could hit it with a metal broom. You can't do that. You can't do that. And you know what? It'll last long enough for them to take your money or cash your check. Then in the springtime, it's all gone. So, no. Power washing, it's essential. You wouldn't paint a dirty wall, so why paint the dirty driveway? And it's a great upsell. I mean, yeah, you're upselling the customer, but it's something that the customer needs. So, you know, you shouldn't feel bad about taking the money. Ramos Sport Surfacing, who's a good guy, he checks in a lot. I got a question for you. How much material does spraying use compared to brushing? And also, have you heard of Q, the Great Awakening? I've had some guys put sand on cracks before applying rubber. Is that a time waster? Do you fill your cracks on the first pass before you go over them? Is it possible to fill them on the first go? And if so, is there a technique for that? So, yeah, I've never heard of Q, the Great Awakening, but in my opinion, the way we apply sealer, we use a lot more sealer spraying versus brushing. You know, with a squeegee, depending on how porous the driveway is. Let's say the driveway's been sealed before and it's not very porous. My driveway at my house is about 1,100 square feet. Before I had it paved, it had been sealed so many times that it only took 5 gallons to seal it with a squeegee. Yeah, because it was like glass. Where spraying it, it's like 15 gallons. So it all depends. It does. It all depends. As far as filling cracks with sand, this is more of like a tennis court thing. But yes, I know guys who will fill up, you know, a crack 1/4 of an inch from the top with either stone dust or sand, and then you use patch binder for the rest of it. Also, do you get your cracks filled on the first pass? On tennis courts, a lot of times, because the patch binder has water in it, it will evaporate and it will shrink and it will look a little sunken in, so you always have to go over them twice. Doing it with hot rubber, depending on how deep the crack is or if there's washout underneath, that's the good thing about having a crack machine, is it's hydraulically driven. So when you pull that trigger, the rubber is getting pumped out and it's filling from the bottom up. So if there's any washout or any abysses underneath the pavement, it's going to fill up first, and it'll keep your things sinking in. So, Andrew S. How about a basic crash course on striping? I picked up a Graco 3400 and I'm hesitant about striping. I was planning on learning or doing a church parking lot for free, but now with the paint shortage, it's really messing things up. It would be so nice to see a step-by-step of somebody learning how to restripe with a basic machine. Water's free, my man. Go get 5-10 gallons of water. Go pick an empty parking lot at night and go phantom stripe that thing. Water is the best training tool. The thing that you're going to have to learn with striping for the first time is when you pull the trigger, where's the paint going to go? It's all about preparation, lining that gun up in the right spot so that when you pull your freaking trigger, it's coming right down on the edge of that line and it's running on the edge the whole line. So what I do is I either let my guys practice using blackout paint before we seal a lot. Let's say we go into a lot. Last guy that was there, fucking lot, the lines are crooked as shit. You look down the row, they're all like this. It looks like a equalizer, from the 1990s or the 1980s or something. It's at the end of the lines. So I'll let my guys use that to try to stripe, but for the most part, like when I teach people, I just use water. I send them, we pick a parking lot, put them out there and just let them fucking go squirt 20 gallons of water. And you're not going to be able to go back after and look at the lines and compare them to how good they were, but it will give you gun time. It will give you confidence in knowing when you squeeze that line, where your paint's going to go. So Andrew, your best bet is just to start with water, get your technique down, and then find a church or a school or somebody. We every year find one parking lot that is absolutely shit, and we go in and we do it at cost. That's great for teaching guys. It's great for trying to tweak your skills in certain areas when you're working on new stuff. So that's an idea for you. Claiming Clements, video idea, marketing that works, marketing you should stay away from. There's a bunch out there claiming the best way to end, but it winds up being a money pit. My name is Kaylin. I love your videos. This is my first year running my own business. My company is Wisconsin Clement Asphalt Maintenance. I wish I had started sooner. Other video ideas are things you keep extras just in case it may go wrong, how to manage your day from taking phone calls to propose. All right, let's go through this let's go through this in step by step. Marketing to stay away from. Yellow pages, pay-per-click advertising, all of that shit. All right, your best advertising is your work, is the work that you do, the quality of your work, how you treat your customers. That is your advertising, because they're going to go and they're going to tell other customers. Yard signs work great for people driving, but that's only going to get you that appointment with the person. All right, you need to get there. Then once you're there, you need to sell that person. The signs, people are going to sit down and I do have some marketing videos up here, but people are going to sit down. They're going to call you. They're going to call 10 other people, and a lot of times it has to be the first person there. I would try to be the first person there, and you get there, you get the person to fall in love with you, and you let the quality of your work do the talking. Stay away from things like yellow pages or Haibu or people that promise you search engine optimization. You can achieve the same thing with just having a good quality name, like your name, Wisconsin Clement Asphalt Maintenance. Anytime somebody sits down, you can try this yourself where you live, Google asphalt maintenance, you're going to pop up by proxy because asphalt maintenance is in the name of your company. So just knowing things like that and structuring yourself in that way, make other Google pages for other things that you do. Wisconsin asphalt maintenance. If somebody types that up, you're going to pop up just because it's in your name. So think of stuff like that. Things to keep extras of, just in case if things go wrong, maybe things that you have and how you handled it. So I try to have doubles of everything. I have 2 of everything. Some things I even have 3 of. I have 3 line stripers. I have 3 edgers. I have 10 blowers. I just, you know, I know that that's not easy to do. Like, you can't just go out and buy double of everything. Like, you have to acquire the stuff over time. But that's basically you're the best way to go about. What are things that can really break on the fly while you're out there? A hose. You could get a pinhole in your hose, so you want stuff to maybe cut and repair your hose quick. But that's only for the moment, because if you get a break in your hose and you try to fix it with a hose clamp, you're just asking yourself for problems. Tips, ball valves for your wand. That's another thing. Obviously tips. On my stripers, I try to bring extra cables and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a tough business. It's not like a mower company where you can bring extra blades. This is kind of all specialty stuff. How to manage your day from taking phone calls to getting proposals. Well, I lean a lot on my wife for stuff like this. I'm an owner who works, so I'm out in the trenches every day with my guys. I'm not a guy who sends other people out to do his estimates, or you call and you speak to a woman at the office and then she sends a guy out to do no. I'm the guy. You call, you get me. You want estimates, you get me. And sometimes that takes a while, because it just takes a while, and people's patience could wear thin and stuff like that. I get it, but at the end of the day, like, you want to be they're hiring you and your company, but mostly they're hiring you. So you want to be the face that these people see when they call, and they're looking for you. One of the hardest things that we run into becoming a bigger company is more people want access to me, but it's hard for me to do that and be out on the job, So I lean on my wife a lot, and I will forward her the calls. Like, when things get busy, let's say I'm sealing, most of the time I wear earbuds just so I can take calls while I'm working. But if I can't, or things are too crazy, I forward her my calls, *72, and her phone number from my phone will forward her all my phone calls. And then she does things like this, I get home and everything is written down on a list, looking perfect for me to call back or not call back. Now, the downside with that is people, a lot of times, they want to get me on the phone. They have questions for me that she's not able to answer. And, it is, but it sucks. The next question Kaylin had is how to manage your day-to-day things that you should not skimp on, and why. Everything. Don't skimp on anything. You want top of the line everything. So when I first started, I was paying a guy to come paint my lines for me, $5 a line. Then I got a big job, and I would have had to pay this guy like $2,800. And I looked, and I could have bought this striper. This was my first striper. I could buy this for $1,900. So I said, shit, I'm buying this line striper. This thing was the biggest piece of garbage. I think I used it like 2 times. The paint I was using, Franklin paint, very, very thick, very high solid content. It could not push it through what was essentially a weed whacker motor. It couldn't do it. I used it for probably half of the first season, and I was doing a car dealership one that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. And I had like 100 and something spots to do. I woke up at like 3 in the morning to go do it before I had to be at my job, and it was a complete disaster. I went to Sealmaster. They had a Titan 2850 in their showroom, and I just walked in and said, "Can I put that on my account?" They said yes, and that's how I got my first line striper. Now the Titan 2850 was much better than the Titan 1850 that I had before, but it's nothing compared to a Graco. So, um, I mean, it did only cost 20 or $2,900 versus the $5,600 that a Graco cost. But until you own a Graco and see the difference between what $2,800 buys you versus what $6,800 buys you, you won't understand. And that goes the same with everything. Your squeegees, yeah, you can buy a wooden stick squeegee with a soft rubber blade for what, $50, or you could buy $150 squeegee with a metal handle, T-braces, a slide in slide out system, and you hold this thing in your hand. It's like a gun. You can feel it. You can feel the weight of it, and you just know, like, wow, this is quality right here. So, I know that's kind of a general answer, what to not skimp on, but everything. You're going to have something cheap, and you're going to have something expensive right next to it. You may only be able to afford the cheap thing at the beginning, and that's fine, as long as you take the money that you make with the cheap thing and turn around and buy the expensive thing. Because that expensive thing is going to last you forever. I buy the best of everything. All right. So I just do. I buy the best of everything. And nothing has let me down yet. So let's see. A lot of this stuff I like to know. So maybe there's others out there that would as well. Okay. So that's the end of Kaylin Clements. Grant Shirts and Misler. Hey Ryan, I watch all your videos, super informational. I'm just starting my own seal coating business. I think you're extremely professional, and I guess that's why you've gotten as far as you have in the business. Good luck. That's not really a question, but thanks, Grant. I appreciate you, buddy. What kind of sealer do you spray? From Grant again. That's a great question. This year we are using Naira and Copeland. I was a big Sealmaster guy. But for reasons I'm not going to get into, the ownership of that particular Sealmaster franchise changed. It was sold to one of my competitors, and I'm not interested in helping their empire grow. So although I do still buy stuff from them, like equipment or parts, because they're the only ones that have them, you kind of stuck there. I'm doing a big job out in Detroit, some tennis courts that we're doing out in Detroit, and I don't plan on. I mean, I'm going to use their stuff for that, but that's mostly because I don't have to go through that particular franchise. They will get none of the profit from it, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. We use Naira, we use Copeland. As long as you're cutting your material within the manufacturer's spec and you are making sure that you apply it right, you're not going to have any problems. Taylor Hydraulics, I was doing this in the 70s when we sprayed glycinite. I actually know a guy that still sprays glycinite. He has it trucked up here from like South Carolina. On Long Island, New York. Very old trick, using boards for the edges. After getting experience, about 2 months, I never needed boards unless it was a breezy, windy day. Many old timers like myself have never needed a board and never overspray. Good videos. Thanks for posting. Yeah, so to try to alleviate brush marks around the edges, we will use plywood and go right up to the curb with the spray. That's not a video of that, but we do have a video of it. And it does work very well. Helps keep the brush marks on the sides down. Let's see. Have you ever heard of a product called Hawk Seal E? No, I haven't. I need some help getting started. I got a plastic tote and ad on Facebook. Okay, I think I did that. Just curious how much you pay your employees and how many days a week do you guys work? Well, this is actually a pretty good question. Um, we start people at $17.50 an hour. We call it a working interview, and that's for the first 30 days. If you make it past the first 30 days, then you have a review. Most of the time, you get bumped up to at least $20 an hour, and then you get your uniforms and you officially get hired on. I've done this for so long. I am so sick and tired of people who come to work, misrepresent themselves. You start off paying them $20 an hour, trying to give somebody a decent living, a wage that they can, make some money off of if they're out there working, good hours. And you find out that they suck. Like, you find out that they suck. And then you're stuck with that person until they do something that you can fire them for. In Massachusetts, it's a very litigious state, so you got to be careful. So we try to make sure that we keep guys happy. A lot of my guys say, well, you're the best boss I've had, and I appreciate that, mostly because I'm out there in the trenches working with them. I'm not sitting in an office or just driving around collecting money while they're out busting their ass. If you're a foreman, you can make a lot more than that, 25 to $30 an hour, But one thing that I am always conscious of is I take care of my guys. You gotta take care of you guys. If you guys need something, you gotta help them out. I've had employees who, oh man, I've paid their truck payments when their trucks were gonna get repoed a bunch of times. It's like, whatever you can do. This is their company too. They help you make your money. One thing I'm not gonna do, and what I don't do, is kiss guys' asses. I've had employees who work great. They're great people. They show up when they're supposed to show up. They put in a good day's work while they're here. But then when they leave, they turn the company off, and that's fine. They don't owe me anything more once they're off the clock. But they also walk around like they think they should own a piece of the company, and that's not the case. I'm the one that has put hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money into building this company. My family's the one that has sacrificed and gone without to build this company. I want to be able to offer employees a piece of the company as like an ownership, right? But you can't offer an employee a piece of the company or ownership if they're collecting a paycheck for the while they're working. No, it's called sweat equity. And this is a very common thing. A lot of small businesses do it when they're trying to give an employee a part ownership. And that is, you come and you work for free, right? Who wants to work for free? Nobody wants to work for free. But if you're a guy who's been working and you're like, hey, look, man, I want to grow with this company. I want to be here forever. I don't have $100, $200, $300,000 to buy in, but I'm willing to work this whole season. I want you to take all my weekends and let's add them up. We'll put a dollar amount on it, and let's put that towards, sweat equity, so that someday I can own a piece of this company and I can grow with it. I would do that in a second for people, but I'm not going to just do it for guys who feel entitled, because, they came to work every day and did what they were supposed to do to get a freaking paycheck. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The other thing too is, this generation has just a lot of people who just, overvalue their own time. I just had a guy who came to work for me. He was a good kid. He worked hard. And we started him at $17.50 an hour, and he quit after a week, either because of the heat or he couldn't take the hours or whatever it is. Like, it is. It sucks. So I don't know. Employees are one of those things where I kind of talked about in the beginning of the video. You gotta You got to do like a working interview. You got to get these guys out there. You got to really see who they are, how they work, and what effort they're really willing to put in to your company before you can really decide what they're worth. Because it works the other way too. You could hire a guy for 20 bucks an hour. He gets in and he's like, wow, this guy kicks ass. Like, he's worth way more than 20 bucks an hour. I would do that, like, for somebody in a minute. Like, in a minute, I would bump them up. I had 2 guys this year who, you know, worked with me last year. They started working. I realized how locked on they were, how much, and yeah, I gave them each a raise. So, it all depends on each person. What is the approximate rate square foot to gallon? Thank you. We usually get anywhere from 75 to 90 with a 7 tip, depending on how we put it down. 5 tip, you can get maybe.
Good afternoon. This is Republic.
Fucking phone. 10%. A smaller tip like a 5 or a 6 or something. You could probably get 100 to 110 gallons. Out of each 110 square feet, out of each gallon. So, Jimmy Crosby says I can do it faster with a squeegee. Jimmy Crosby doesn't have any YouTube channel or any videos up there of him doing it. So, just another hater. But this one right here, that driveway could have been brushed faster. Only big broom though. Customer didn't want sand lines. We use concrete mix, leave a 1/4 of an inch for patch binder. That's from Ramos. So that's pretty much it. That's going to be the end of this video. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I'm here for you to answer your questions, to help you. A lot of times I don't know what to say or what to make videos about. I know I'm not the best production person when it comes to doing this, but if there's anything that I can do, I'm more than happy to do it. I decided that once a month I'm going to make videos of me basically just reading the questions and comments that I get through the channel, because a lot of the times it's good information that other people can use. So that's going to be my plan for that. Again, if you saw the beginning of the video, and one more thing is on analytics, we have our reach. Let me show you here. My audience. I don't know how the hell to find it on here. But, okay. So, I had 4,100 views. 2,500, I think, were new. I'm trying to find the damn thing on here that shows. All right, so views. I don't know. I don't even know how to look at this fucking thing. Oh, here we go. This is it. 4,081 views last month. 3,600 of which were non-subscribers. What the hell? Guys, come on. Hook a brother up. Flip this. Come on, get me some more numbers on here. I want the subscribers. I want them going up. Okay, I don't mind. I don't know. I don't know why that is, but come on. You guys are going to do something about it. You're going to fix this. Let's get it done. Adios.